So you're looking to buy a house this year. Here are my top 5 steps that I personally would take if I was looking to buy a house. Step number 1, this is kind of obvious. You have to find a house for sale, right? I don't really have a recommendation on which website to use, but of course you have Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, all more or less are tied to the multiple listing service. At least they're tied to the MLS here in Sacramento. And of course the multiple listing service, if you don't have access to that, that is the listing service or the portal that agents use in order to list a house for sale. They list it pending and therefore they list it sold as well. So just go online, look at the area you're looking to buy a house. That's step number 1. Number 2 is if you identify any houses you want to take a look at, then reach out to your local real estate agent. Then tour those houses with your agent. And that is very important because of course you want to take a look to see for yourselves if this is an area you like, and of course the house as well. If the house is something you're interested in, that's step number 2. Your agent should contact the listing agent, and the listing agent is the seller's agent in which they list the house for sale. Your agent should reach out and ask them a few questions. Number 1, they should ask them, are there any inspection reports already completed by the seller? That could be a home inspection in which a home inspector, which is this independent third party, looks at the house inside and out and also marks any issues with the house. So they look at the foundation, they look in the attic if there is one, they look at all the electrical, the HVAC, the roof, etc. They provide a detailed analysis regarding are there any issues with that property. This is one of the more important ones because a home inspector is really unbiased. They make their living by charging for home inspections, but not doing the work that they recommend. In contrast, a roof inspector generally does roof inspections, but also roof repairs and re-roofs as well. Also, that's true for sewer line inspections, chimney inspectors, pest inspections as well, in which they are looking at for any issues of the house, but also they are also recommending any repairs that they recommend as well. So again, your agent should reach out to the listing agent, ask them if there are any inspections already completed. And that can vary by the area as well. So for example, in the San Francisco Bay Area, it's very, very common for sellers to do a lot of inspections and also provide all the disclosures up front so buyers can make a more informed decision regarding their offer. I'm also seeing that in Sacramento as well, a lot of sellers doing inspections as well, but very common in the San Francisco Bay Area. So that is inspections, but also your agent should also ask for any disclosures. So in California, we have a set number of standard disclosures that every seller of 1 to 4 unit properties has to disclose to home buyers. But they do not have to provide that prior to getting offer accepted, but some sellers and listing agents provide these disclosures up front. These disclosures ask for things like, has there been any pest work or any issues with the plumbing, any issues with the central heating and air system? Is there any public nuisances? Any issues that would be material to a home buyer, for example. If the seller does disclose any issues with the property, normally they provide a short explanation about what is going on. So for example, let's say there's a roof leak that was disclosed by a seller. Perhaps they have a roof inspection to kind of like dictate or estimate what the repairs would look like. So not only should you get a copy of any inspection reports and disclosures, but also you should be cognizant of the fact that, is this a new listing in which a seller just listed the property and it's in a neighborhood that has a lack of inventory, or is it a house that's been listed on the market for quite some time and they have done several price adjustments? These are all very important things to know because if a house is a brand new listing, perhaps they won't be as motivated to sell their house compared to a home that's been listed for a long, long time and they're doing price reductions. Step number 3 is that the buyer's agent should also call the listing agent, ask them these following questions. Why is the home seller selling their house? Perhaps there's some issues with the house or the neighborhood, which is causing them to move, right? So why is the seller selling the property? You should ask them, are there any issues with the house or property as well? So for example, how old is the central heat and air system, the HVAC? How old is the roof? Are there any major issues with the house, such as foundation problems, for example? On top of that, do you have any offers received? And if so, when are offers or the deadline, when does that take place? I can't tell you how bad some agents are. And some people, many agents probably don't do this. Let me give you an example. I listed a house for sale many years ago. We did an open house. We had a lot of people at the open house, but that did not translate into any offers. When the buyers came to my open house, which they had a different agent, and I got an email from that agent with an offer, and that agent didn't even call me, email me, nothing to discuss, do you have any offers on hand? Are there any disclosures, inspections, etc.? And that agent wrote an offer, or I should say that agent submitted their client's offer for $15,000 higher than our asking price, but that was the only offer we received. Had that agent just simply picked up the phone and asked me, do you have any offers? I would be honest and say, no, we don't have any offers. And therefore that buyer probably paid about $10,000 to $15,000 more than they should because the agent didn't take the time to simply pick up their phone. And by the way, guess where that agent is now working? Redfin. Not to say that all Redfin agents are bad, but I thought it was pretty comical. Anyways, number 4, after you look at the inspection reports, disclosures, you get the information about why they're selling, any issues with the property or the house, your agent should run comparable sales to kind of gauge, are they asking for a high price compared to recent properties have sold, or is their asking price below market value in order to generate more offers to drive up the home price? Now, something you guys should be aware of is that not every state is a disclosure state in which they disclose the final price. So for example, in Texas, it is a non-disclosure state. So if you look at house that's sold in Austin, Texas, for example, you're not going to get this sold price, making it very challenging for you, the home buyer, to kind of figure out how much the house sold for. So you might have to get your agent involved to kind of help you with this. If you are in a disclosure state such as California, for example, then here's how I would personally look at, is this house or the asking price, is it fair, is it too high, or is it too low? And I just picked this house at a random, right? And so it's not an advertisement for this listing, but I just picked it at random. This is in the Natomas area, very close to our airport, about 10 minutes north of downtown Sacramento. The asking price is just under $600,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, just under 1,800 square feet, built in 2002. It's a single-family house, therefore it's not a condo or a townhome, and they have an HOA, and also they have a lot size of just over 3,600 square feet. It's about 0.08 acre, so relatively small lot size. Looking at the pictures, you can see, of course, it's a single-family house. This is very common in Natomas. 2 stories, stucco, tiled roof. You can see there's tiled flooring, some updated paint there, blue, and of course, updated kitchen as well. They put in this backsplash, looks like stainless steel appliances. The fridge is gone, but you have a range and a microwave. It looks like a quartz countertops in the kitchen. Looking at the rest of this listing, looks like the bathroom is also updated as well for the vanity, maybe some new carpet and some built-ins potentially here in the family room or master bedroom. And here's the lot, more or less a kind of smaller lot size with just concrete in the backyard, which in this neighborhood is very common. And they also have a 2-car garage as well. Now here is the steps that I personally do, and your agent, of course, can provide comparable sales for you as well. So that's what I do. I run comparable sales and I send those exact listings to my clients, including all the pictures. If you go to sold properties and on Redfin, these other websites, they often only include the front picture and then delete all the other photos. So it makes it very challenging for you to figure out, is this property that's sold, is it comparable to this house I'm thinking about placing an offer? Because of course you're not gonna see pictures. So ask your agent for some comparable sales and the actual listings, including all the photos as well. So in any case, here's what I do. Go to this, copy the address, and then I go to Zillow on a new tab, copy it in there, hit enter, and there's the listing. I go back to search, and when I do that, you can see the listing right there. And the listing, you kind of have to know where the house was listed or where it's located, which in this case is right here. 600,000 is the house that we just looked at. So you want to look at houses that actually have sold, right? So going on to Zillow, I'm sure Redfin, Realtor.com are very similar. Select solds only. And you get a ton because they're looking at houses that sold indefinitely. So go to bedrooms and baths. Again, it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. What I personally do is look at 4 bedrooms and 2 bath. So 1 bath less than the subject property, but trying to look at 4 bedrooms because there's more value in a 4-bedroom home compared to a 3-bedroom. Then click on apply. Then click on home type. We only want to look at single family houses. Click on apply, then click on more. And you want to look at square footage that's very comparable to the house you're interested in placing an offer. So in this case, around 1,800 square feet, excuse me. So I will look at around 300 square feet plus or minus. So 1,500 to around 2,000 square feet for the property. The lot size, you're going to see similar smaller lot sizes in this neighborhood. Also year build as well. If you're in an area in which there's houses that are built in the 1990s, 80s, etc., there's a wide range, then you might want to enter the year build. Of course, you want to exclude brand new houses if you're looking to buy an older house. Then go to the bottom and go to here. It says sold in last any. So you're looking at a house that sold 3-4 years ago. Ideally, look over the past 90 days, click on apply, but you may not see a whole lot of houses that sold recently. In this case, there's only 2. So what I want to do is make this a little bit more broad and look over the past 6 months. Let's take a look at that. Let me zoom in a little bit here as well, because I don't want to jump over this street because that's a little bit different HOA. So we have one good comp, but we want to see more than that. Let's go back here to the last 12 months, then click on apply. So again, our subject property that we're interested in placing an offer is right here. So these other properties are very close as well. Now going back to our subject property, again, it's 4-bedroom, 3-bath, around 1,800 square feet, and the lot size is around 3,600. So we're looking at 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 4-3, 4-3. Here's a 4-2. So this one would be a little bit lower in value because it's a 2-bathroom compared to a 3-bath, but not a lot of big difference regarding that, really, maybe about $5,000 or $10,000. This house size is also smaller as well. It's also a single story as well. So not as comparable compared to these other 3 properties. Also around 1,800 square feet, very close in size to this one at 1,900, very, very close to this one at 1,700, and this one close as well at around 1,900 square feet. What I'm trying to do here is not provide the actual dollar amount that I feel the house would sell for, but try to figure out a more reasonable range, right? Is it within 10, 20,000, or are we just far off here, right? Let's first click on this one right here, $600,000. It sold in August, so just a few months ago. Again, very comparable home size compared to ours right here. A little bit higher square footage, but not a big difference. So again, we can't see the pictures, just the first picture of the exterior, which looks nice. But what I want to do here is look at that. Look at it's possible VA assumable loan at 2.75%. So this could potentially get a higher price if this home buyer, new home buyer, is able to assume this loan that the seller has at 2.75%. Let's move on and read the description to see if there's any verbiage regarding any updates to the house. And that's this right here. The open and updated kitchen allows everyone to be part of blah, blah, blah. So updated kitchen, but no other mentions regarding any other updates to this property. So updated kitchen, which sounds like this is also updated as well. The house you want to buy, that has an updated kitchen as well. The flooring is the same as the rest of the property, looks like. But again, we have updated stainless steel appliances, again, that quartz countertop as well. So again, we can't see the actual pictures of this property, so you may want to reach out to your agent to get the actual pictures from the previous listing that agents have access to. So in any case, I think this is a really good comparable sale. We have the exact number of bedrooms and bathrooms, very similar square footage, because someone who's walking into an 1,800 square foot home compared to a 1,900 square foot home, chances are someone's not going to be able to tell a difference between that 100 square feet difference in this property right here. So again, this house sold very similar in size, and again, also sold very recently as well compared to this one as well. Let's look at these other listings as well. This one sold for $545,000. Let's have a look at the stats on this one. Again, we want to see comparable year built, lot size, etc. This one was built a little bit after the subject property, so it's 4 years newer, but not a big difference there. Let's have a look at the description. Beautiful home. Again, I'm looking for updates or any verbiage that would signify any condition of the property. Now, this one doesn't provide a whole lot of information regarding the condition of the property. If I was the listing agent for a house, I would certainly identify any updates that the house had. So it has an updated kitchen. I certainly would include that in the listing description. So I'm making this assumption here that probably this house probably doesn't have a whole lot of updates, given there's no mention of that in the description. But again, ask your agent for the previous pictures so you have a look at if this property is similar condition to the house you're going to place an offer on potentially. Let's have a look at this third one as well. Again, this one's very close in size to the house that we're looking at. And let's have a look at the description. This one is also a 2-story house, single family home as well. And let's see if it has any updates in the house. If you look at the very end, it says move-in ready with fresh paint and new carpet throughout. So I'm guessing it's probably original to the house, but they have new carpet and new paint inside the house as well. And this one is also very close in a year built, same HOA, and very similar lot size as well. And again, that one sold for $557,000. Therefore, looking at these comparable sales, they range from $545,000 to $600,000. So it's within reasonable range of this house that's being asked, or the asking price of $600,000. Again, I would want to see the pictures of these properties to gauge if it has similar condition to the house you're interested in placing an offer or not. But it's probably likely pretty close given these comparable sales are within around $50,000. One more thing you guys should be looking at as well is that if this is a new listing or a house that's been listed for sale for quite some time. In this case, this house just got listed 4 days ago, and it says here as well, it has 43 saves and nearly 700 views as well. It was just listed by Kim of Realty One Group Complete. So it is a new listing, which in my neck of the woods is very common for agents to list a home for sale on Wednesday, Thursday, have the weekend for people to look at it, and then the seller looks at offers on Monday or Tuesday. Zillow also provides this at the bottom here as well. You can see it got listed for sale on January 9th for $600,000. It was listed for rent back in March of last year. Then it got removed about 2 weeks later. So it probably was a rental, and now they're selling the property right now. And by the way, the homeowner bought the property back in December of 2021 for $550,000. Now again, they're asking about $600,000. I don't put a whole lot of weight into that because we don't know how much updates has the homeowner put into the house. On top of that, we want to look at houses that sold ideally yesterday, that sold next door. Looking at comparable sales from years ago doesn't really tell us the current value of the property. So you want to look at houses that are very similar in size, age, also the size of the lot as well, and also similar condition that has sold in the same neighborhood as recent as possible compared to the subject property. Also, if you guys are interested in buying a house this year as well, here's some tips for you guys as well. I talk about housing market updates on channel all the time, but really it's a personal decision whether or not to buy or sell a house. So some tips for you guys is that buying a house is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, financial decision you'll make in your entire life. So you want to make sure you make a sound decision based on a lot of information, right? Inspections, disclosures, comparable sales, etc. Rather than telling your agent, hey, let's just place an offer on the house, and your agent doesn't even reach out to the listing agent or the seller's agent. So be patient because it's a very big decision, and make sure you have all these things that you have done so you can make a more informed decision about whether to place an offer on the house or not. Also, you can change the house, right? So my suggestion is that you buy a house in a location that you're 100% happy with, because of course you cannot change the location. Number 3, of course, is to hire a realtor that you feel like you can really trust. Someone you really feel who is going to look out for your best interests, and someone you really can help you, kind of guide you through the home buying process, because it can be very challenging, especially for a first-time home buyer. Also, my advice for you guys as well is to stay within your means. Don't overstretch and buy a house you cannot afford. Buy a house in which the housing payment you're very, very comfortable with. And also on top of that, have an emergency fund, a stable job, and of course, long-term time horizons in which you do not plan to sell the house for at least 7+ years. And lastly, do not try to time the market. That's virtually impossible. Buy when it's right for you based on your own circumstances and goals as well. With that said, if you guys got any value out of today's video, then please hit the like button. Also consider subscribing as well. Of course, if you guys are interested in buying or selling a house in the greater Sacramento area, then please email me at jason@meetjasonwalter.com. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.